Thank everybody for being here. My name is Ryan Moreno. My manager Patty just walked out of the room, but big thanks to her for getting you all here today, working with the SoCal Ren and USGBC. We're very excited to be your host today, so hopefully everything's gonna go well. Please stick around for the tour afterwards. I'll be giving a tour and you can really ask as many questions you want. But really quick, safety is really big for Edison and for our guests. So in case of an earthquake, first thing we do is drop, cover, and hold on the tables, okay? And when shaking stops, we would safely utilize the exits, which is this one on the side, and of course the one in the front. This is not an exit. Meeting at the front of the flagpole, that's the meeting area with a sign-in sheet. We can account for everybody hopefully, and then we're all safe there. We do have an AED, a device right here in our lobby. And does anybody know CPR? That's all right. So we got some CPR people here. So, all right. Are there any questions? The office or behind us is also another set across the lobby. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lionel. Thank you to Edison for allowing us to utilize their facility. My name is Luana Diaz. I am with the County of Los Angeles. I am the Environmental Initiatives Division Manager. And I manage and run the Southern California Regional Energy Network. And so for many of you who may be new to what that term is we are essentially similar to Edison, where we are authorized to utilize ratepayer funds to implement and administer energy efficiency programs that include residential, commercial, agriculture, public sector, and workforce education and training. Our objective, of course, though, when it comes for workforce education and training is that we are training small business contractors to actually take advantage of the opportunities that these ratepayer funds provide in projects or in scope. In addition, we're really looking to help supply those small business contractors with workforce capacity. So we're also working to help build, more workforce that are skilled to support those projects that come out of energy efficiency ratepayer funds. And last and most importantly, which I was able to talk with Eric about, is really the youth. So as we focus workforce education and training, we really need to emphasize this idea that we need to start at the ground level. And the ground level are youths. They are our future. Because I know I've been doing this 20 years. I don't think I'm gonna do it another 20 years. I don't think I have it in me, but my kids, your kids, or our families, and all the different youths that we are aware of that exist, we need to help bring them into this green economy. And the way we do that is through outreach and education. And so all of our workforce education programs really emphasize this idea of building that youth, identifying opportunities, and direct linking them to those opportunities. So youth, small business contractors, disadvantaged workers, and really building this ecosystem. So thinking of a comprehensive model. Here you can see Southern California Regional Energy Network covers 13 counties. Yep, we cover 13 counties. It is administered by LA, but we are an energy champion, meaning all of our neighbors are supported by SoCal Ren, and that goes all the way up to Inyo County. As I mentioned, we cover public agencies, commercial agriculture, and workforce education and training. We also have finance programs that we are able to leverage federal funding. So federal funding that came to the county is then dispersed throughout the region, because we do believe that we need to support our local public agencies. All right, and with that, I think that's my spiel, and I'm really happy that you guys were all able to attend in person. We want to make sure we're in the communities that we serve, and so I appreciate everybody coming out. That did, and I'm gonna pass it over to Shelley, my program manager.
All right, thank you. No mic, just for this?
Yes.
Okay, good. My glasses so I can see everything. All right, how's the sound quality? In the room it's fine, but make sure that we have sound quality online, okay?
Checking.
It's good.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. So first of all, I just want to say welcome everybody Thank you so much for those of you who drove down, those of you who drove up, those of you who just popped on over. Again, I'm Shelley Osborne. I'm a program manager with SoCal Ren, which Luana introduced. I want to say, first of all, I want to welcome, we have in person Eric Coyne with the Senator Melissa Hurtado's office. He's going to be speaking in a little bit. I just want to also welcome folks that we have either online or in person from the State Assembly Office, the Office of Mayor Karen Bass, the City of LA, City of Fresno, Supervisor Horvath's office, and then the City of South Pasadena. So welcome to everyone, special welcome for those. Eric, I think you wanted to say a few words. And again, we're going to have people try and stand as close to what is affectionately known as the owl as possible.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity. The senator would have loved to have been here because energy and career development is part of her core mission. But she's battling. I've got like 50 texts just since I've been here on the Senate floor, you know. She sits, her main legislative priorities were water, food, ag. Because if you can't eat, you don't have water, well, it doesn't matter who you are or how wealthy or how poor you are. She also is always about, she's from the Valley. And she came from modest means, first one in her family to go to college. And so she is all about equity. Whoever you are, we just want to make sure that you're treated the same, that the agencies that, you know, this is communicated down to us, a field staff. If it's a business calling, if it's a business of 1 or 1,000, or it's a homeowner, or it's a, you know, a homeless person, we're trying to get them access to services. She has also really stepped into energy, climate change, water, natural resources, business and financial institutions. A big thing for her is transparency. If you're going to invest in something, we want you to know what you're getting into. Hopefully you're asking due diligence questions. You read the fine print when you buy a house, a car, a solar system, but what happens if it goes wrong? You know, and that's a big part of our job. She has a legislative history of working with workforce development and career tech, specifically access to, you know, how do you get rid of barriers to nursing programs? There's never enough seats in all of our counties, whether in LA or whatever. So she worked with all the community colleges to find a way to give preference points, not academic points. You got to be smart because somebody like me having heart surgery, the nurse might save my life, you know, but we'd like to have them be able to get admission if they're local. You know, you don't want the brain drain. It's so hard to support a new business coming in if you don't have the job skills force. So developing that job skills first, working with the workforce investment department, your community colleges, your middle schools, believe it or not, start getting them focused on what they want to do in life and how to be successful. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. Many of you are in that business or you're looking to use those services to staff your workforce. So thank you for the opportunity. And if I can help in any way with any of this or provide more information on what she's done in her district, so, you know, borrow the ideas, take them elsewhere, you know, I'm available. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so today we're going to hear from 4 panelists who have 5 minutes each, 5 minutes each, 5 minutes each for presentations. You'll get some reminders coming from the back on placards. Yes, Melanie's demonstrating now. First, we're going to have Rosie King, who's going to talk about some workforce solutions for SoCal Ren through a Clean Energy Academy. Next, Samuel Cervantes is going to discuss energy efficiency careers in ag programs. Wendy Angel will talk about a contractor training program and opportunities for skilled trades in energy efficiency. And we're going to have Jason, who's going to discuss how clean energy jobs are critical for improved air quality, particularly here in Central Valley. After that, we're going to have some questions. So be thinking about some questions you want to ask. We'll take them obviously in the room and then also online. And then we have some prepared questions for the panelists that we may start with, but we'll see what comes in online. So please, you can text, use the chat feature to put in your questions. We're also gonna hear from Lionel Marino, who's gonna talk about SoCal Edison's Mobile Education Unit. So again, panelists are gonna have 5 minutes each with their presentations, questions, and then Lionel's gonna come after that. All right, take it away.
Good afternoon, or, good evening, or good afternoon, good morning now. Rosie Pang with Wildan. I'm serving as a regional partner liaison for the SoCal Ren newly launched commercial program. I've been in energy efficiency for the last 17 years. For many years, you're all familiar with local government partnerships. That's primarily what I did, serving local governments and their sustainability initiatives. So I'm going to talk about specifically how we're embedding workforce education and training into the commercial offerings. So let me give you a little bit about the 3 programs that are a component of the commercial offering. They're one integrated approach. It is essentially the Food Desert Energy Efficiency Equity Program. We are specifically targeting the hard to reach DAC and LILA communities. They're no cost technical services, so it is direct install. And it essentially identifies an anchor store within a community that does not offer fresh food. We offer new refrigeration, energy efficiency upgrades, and then the opportunity for them to offer fresh food. And then the hard to reach commercial direct install program essentially is commercial businesses that are located in that region of the community. Offers the same measures, hard to reach DAC, LILA, no cost technical services. The only thing that's not offered to the commercial business is the refrigeration and food service measures. And it's very similar, energy efficiency upgrades, direct install model. Now, these are very brief overviews of the program. If you want more information, you can always take my contact and we can dive deeper into the commercial programs. We can go to the next slide. So the third program, which is the Business Energy Advisor Program, is essentially the part that conducts the outreach, acquires the customer acquisition, and does all the things that are out in the field. And this specific program essentially supports the foodie program and the commercial DI program. And it's intended for us, we really wanted to make sure that the outreach that was out there in the community offering the commercial programs were representing the community. So we know that in-community partners really are trusted advisors to their community. So the BEAs, we're calling them that short for Business Energy Advisors. Essentially what they do are all these items here on the other side, which is they connect with businesses, they assess program eligibility, they coordinate the assessments. Our Business Energy Advisors are actually going to conduct the site assessments. So they're the ones that are doing the door knocking, going in, offering the program, conducting the site visits. And then they're going to do outreach throughout the program component. And so the energy advisors support the program throughout the program cycle. So from them coming and being enrolled through installation, after installation is complete, we offer additional services like benchmarking. But the idea really for business energy advisors is to support throughout the program cycle. So they'll come back and kind of make a touch point with the customers. Go to the next slide. Now, the way that we knew that in order to have our outreach staff represent the community, that we needed to partner with community-based organizations that represent the community. So we partnered specifically with the Rural Prosperity Center. They focus and do outreach to the rural customers. And the organization has over 30 years of experience. They're located here in the Central Valley. Campbell Energy Group focuses with tribal nations. They're a minority-owned business that started in 2009. They provide similar services. So both of our partners are responsible for the business energy advisors. They will do the hiring, not us. You can go to the next. And the way that we did that is we have what's called Wildan Clean Energy Academy. We initiated this in 2020, primarily to conduct education for contractors that we have participating in our programs. But we quickly realized that as program goals grow and the diversity and mixtures exist, we needed to expand because we needed contractors to become more knowledgeable. What we realized is we also needed to create kind of a talent pipeline into our programs to conduct the outreach, to do a lot of that technical analysis on the early end project coordinators that help with programs. So we started in 2020, we've been running now through 2024, and you'll see that as we advance, we continue to grow our offerings. And this academy is basically, we have an online platform, we hire local trainers, we can either do virtual or in classroom. The virtual platform allows us to take attendance, have quizzes, look at grading. They can log into this, the software platform, and they're able to review classroom recordings. And so we continue to expand what we're doing here. And that's exactly how we're embedding it into our commercial program. So our BEAs will be hired through InCommunity. They'll provide the program and the technical knowledge that they need in order to conduct the outreach and the site assessments through our technical library and our training that we're providing. And that's how they'll be on that. Last slide. You'll be able to see that we've had quite a bit of graduates. These are our statistics and how it is, and that's how it's essentially operating within the commercial program right now. And our tribal partner, Council Energy, just released their first job hiring posting yesterday. So they are doing their hiring to support the program. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samuel Cervantes. I'm with ICF. I'm an account manager for the energy efficiency ag program. I've been with ICF for a number of years and have had the opportunity to work under the residential, commercial, multifamily, and most recently under the ag sector. Give a little teaser, including the SoCal Ren Ag program. Something that you guys may have seen earlier in some of the slides is there's a new program, 2 new programs that were just added. One is agriculture and the second one's commercial. So we're excited to announce that ICF has been picked as the implementer for the SoCal Ren Ag program. If we go to the next slide. Very, very exciting for us because obviously this is going to create several new positions within the SoCal Ren Ag program. The new roles will have obviously a really strong focus on hard to reach rural communities and also disadvantaged communities. It's also going to give us an opportunity to hire, local to maximize the impact. We know that hiring people that know what it is to be in a hard to reach area or have worked or have some kind of history in the disadvantaged communities, it's important because it helps them connect with the people in these local communities. And it really gives the program success. So I think that's super important for us. If we go to the next slide. So ICF has several energy efficiency programs. Currently, right now, we have one with SoCal Gas under the Agriculture Energy Efficiency Program. We do things like boilers, heat curtains, hot water heaters, and then for the SCE Agriculture Energy Efficiency Program, we do like ventilation fans, horticulture lighting, variable speed drives, and I also get to work with Lionel and Patty. When we're out here in the community, they allow me to be out here and do outreach whenever they're doing any type of event. So we always appreciate their support. And if you're ever in the Downey area, we work with obviously SoCal Gas at the Resource Center. So that's super important to us. So the nice thing about having these 2 successful programs is that we're going to build on the success that we have had in these 2 programs and the lessons that we've learned and really implement it in the new program that we have just been selected as an implementer for the SoCal Ren program. So we're really excited to take those lessons that we've learned and the best practices and implement them as this program rolls out. So we'll be having some new positions opening up here in the near future. So if you guys have any questions, that's it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Wendy Angel with Emerald City Collaborative. I'm the SoCal Regional Director. We are the third-party implementer for the workforce education and training sector. We have been here since the inception of SoCal Ren back in 2012. So we developed quite a few programs over the years, but the one that we're going to focus on today is our e-contractor program. Move on to the next slide. So we have recently partnered up with LA County. They are the lead program administrator for the California Equitable Building Decarb Grant, which is a statewide grant broken up into 3 regions. So LA County SoCal Ren is leading the southern region, covering about 6 counties, divided into 9 sub-regions. This is a direct install program, so we'll be working with quite a few CBOs, but technically we have tried to develop this academy and training for our small and diverse contractors for about a year to 2 years now, and we are finally going to be ready to launch. In a previous RWA meeting, we did go over in more detail about the PEC EBD program. That's available on our SoCal Ren website if you wanted to learn more. But if you go on to the next slide. So like I mentioned, it's going to be a statewide program. We're leading the southern region. We have quite a few partners that are going to be part of this program in order to make sure that we are successful. We are covering the San Diego County area, which is first under SoCal Ren. Next slide, please. So the purpose of the program is to create a one-stop shop for not only our contractors, for homeowners, for renters in disadvantaged communities. It's a first of its kind program, well, where everything is going to be paid for by the grant, which means the appliances, the labor for our contractors, and so it comes at no cost to those in those units. So these are some of the measures that are going to be covered. And for each home, it's case by case basis, so it'll be very unique. And so we've developed our academy and our training for our contractors to be ready to do this work. Because it is going to be a major overhaul. It's going to be a lot of projects coming into the pipeline. And for us, it's very important that we include those small and diverse and local contractors to be able to do the work. Slide. So this is just a quick overview of our academy outline. We work again with small and micro contractors. A lot of them are in private residential. They have no understanding of some of the green building technologies that are coming out. And so we want to make sure that they are well prepared. And so we developed this academy with foundational courses. So we have our green buildings technologies, so they'll be able to learn about all of these direct install measures that will be part of the CEC EBD program, decarb best practices. And then most importantly, this academy is focused on the heat pump water heater installation, which most of our contractors have never done before. And so one of the requirements is the EPA 608 Type 2 certification. And so we'll be having that as part of this program. And then also hands-on training. This will be hybrid. It's the first of its kind. We've never done a hands-on installation training for our contractors before. And so they'll be learning how to install those heat pump water heaters. And then one of the last sessions for this academy, all of our contractors want to know what opportunity. And so like I mentioned, this is going to be directly associated with this EBD program. And so we want to make sure that local contractors are doing the work in their communities. Slide. This is actually a pretty long academy. Usually our academies are about 5 to 7 weeks, but this is a 3-month academy. So we are starting the outreach in September, and we are going, we're starting at the beginning of October, and we're going all the way to mid-December. So it is quite a time commitment. We will be having it not just once, but we'll be having it probably about 2 or 3 times, as long as the duration of the EBD grant. And so we want to make sure that our contractors are prepared. We want to make sure that we're hiring locally and that we're building up our workforce. Thank you.
How much experience will these contractors or these workforce development people need to have in order to enroll into this type of program, especially if it's brand new? I mean, there's a lot of schools out there, trade schools that are looking to partner with companies that can offer jobs or offer opportunities like this. And so is there a qualification of they need to have 2 years, 3 years in the
Yes,
workforce?
so the CEC put out some workforce guidelines, so there is a preference. There's about 6 uh, preference measures, and so our contractors have to meet 3 out of the 6. And so it really, it depends, but I believe it's 3 years, at least 3 years of install experience. And then we go into those preference, but we do have our union partners that we're working with as part of this program. And so we're building out what that outreach is gonna look like and how we're gonna be doing the intake of contractors, and we're classifying them. So we do have tiered categories for contractors coming in. And then as part of SoCal Ren, we do have the one-on-one technical assistance and coaching. And so that's why we developed the academy.
Wonderful, thank you.
And we have one more presenter, and then we'll take the remaining questions online, so.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jason Crow. I'm with the California Air Resources Board, and most of my work at CARB involves incentive programs for heavy-duty vehicles and equipment for folks to be able to purchase cleaner vehicles. All right. So I guess if we could move on to the next slide. Maybe the next slide. Okay, as I think most of you are aware, CARB's mission is focused primarily on achieving clean air and reducing carbon emissions. And at the same time, we recognize a clear need for funding workforce training and development projects as a way to support our clean air and climate goals and ensure the availability of a clean energy workforce. Over the past few years, CARB has begun implementing a number of workforce training and development projects, and these help to support the recommendations that were outlined in the SB 350 Low Income Barriers Guidance document and complement CARB's clean mobility and other clean transportation investments. We're working to address workforce gaps among our priority populations, collaborating across state agencies, as well as with our partners to co-fund community-driven projects. And to date, we've allocated a little over $4.5 million so far to workforce projects. So first of all, as part of our ongoing collaboration with the Energy Commission, CARB has contributed to the Ideal ZEV Workforce Pilot Project, which is currently implementing 13 large and small community projects statewide. These are things like clean transportation curriculum, transit, as well as the Cal EVITP certification program. The objective of this effort is to broadly support zero-emission community training and infrastructure efforts, including pathways towards clean transportation jobs. CARB has also awarded funding for 2 adult education and vocational school zero-emission vehicle or ZEV training projects. The first of these is the Eden Area Regional Occupational Program, which is developing a comprehensive workforce development training program, which is applicable to light, medium, and heavy-duty ZEVs. This will include developing a ZEV-focused curriculum, any necessary hands-on equipment, instructional materials, outreach efforts, and staffing. It's designed to provide underrepresented students with an innovative green workforce career pathway for technical skill sets on zero-emission vehicles, including both hydrogen fuel cell and battery electric vehicles. The program is being developed in partnership with AC Transit in order to serve high school students as well as adult apprenticeship programs at major transportation agencies and companies. The second of these projects is the Gateway Community Charters, or GCC project, which is designed to help increase the number of students participating in the school's Advanced Automotive Technologies pathway. GCC plans to create an electric vehicle conversion program where students will convert a trolley bus into a ZEV. The benefits and outcomes of this project will include establishing a collaborative network of local community partners to develop clean energy training programs. GCC will also help to increase qualified applicants within the Sacramento region, providing training and access to high-wage, high-skill, clean energy jobs for underrepresented populations. And the other major project that CARB is currently funding is the expanded and equitable access to ZEV training in disadvantaged communities, which is being administered by the Foundation for California Community Colleges, or FCCC. It's helping to support and invest in ZEV community college training programs. And FCCC has selected 6 community college campuses around the state to receive funding aimed at increasing the number of skilled individuals entering the ZEV workforce. The 6 colleges that were awarded will develop training infrastructure and prepare a workforce capable of meeting California's growing need for ZEV technology expertise, directly supporting the state's transition to a zero-emission transportation system. And 2 of the community colleges selected as part of this project are in the Central Valley. We have San Joaquin Delta College and Merced Community College as part of this project. A couple other areas just to highlight where CARB includes workforce training and development is our Clean Mobility's investment solicitations, where CARB staff assesses where incentivized ZEV deployment is occurring in existing projects and where gaps exist in program uptake and benefits for underserved populations, and look at how we can further support and prioritize workforce training and development. And then lastly, projects that are funded through our advanced technology demonstration pilot projects all include some aspect of workforce development. In this program, CARB does prioritize workforce development and training aspects of projects where they take a more holistic approach to workforce development. And these types of projects are awarded higher scores in the solicitation process. And just to wrap up, looking ahead, we do anticipate a continued focus on the integration of workforce training and development in the various projects that CARB funds, along with an ongoing collaboration in this area with our other state agency funding partners. Thank you.
So as part of SoCal Ren, we do have some CBO partners in Tulare County, rural counties in general. And then as part of the CEC EBD program, we also have CBO partners that were part of our proposal, part of the grant. And so I'm not recalling the name. I'm not sure if Luana or Brian.
No, I was gonna speak to that because one thing I will say is that, SoCal Ren, the energy efficiency portfolio that covers the 13 counties all the way up to Inyo, but the California Energy Commission Equitable Building Decarbonization Program is split a little bit different. But I still believe that there's great opportunity there. In Southern California, what we're doing, I'm really proud of this, is we're building a local workforce in each 9 sub-region of Southern California. Now, the Central Valley has a separate administrator. It's the Center of Sustainable Energy, they're an implementer, but they're not profit. And also you're gonna know that about me, I'm very transparent and I'll tell you like it is. They're an implementer, and what we're gonna try to do, because the Regional Workforce Alliance really came about because we wanted to bring together workforce, stakeholders, industry members, local governments together to talk about these opportunities, to talk about these programs. Because what we saw happening was everybody's working in silence. Nobody knows what's going on. How is this happening? So in EBD, I talked about how Southern California is doing it, but I think our brethren that have got in Central Valley, what we can do for SoCal Ren is, as we're taking that e-contractor academy, we can work directly with them to say, hey, we have workforce being built here in Tulare and Tulare, sorry, and Inyo and Mono, because SoCal Ren is gonna be building that small business contractors. We want to directly link them to those projects, which will be single family, multifamily, and mobile homes. In Southern California alone, we're gonna do 12,518 households. Central Valley, I'm sure, is in the thousands as well. And so we wanna make sure that those small business contractors are directly linked to those projects, so that they're not waiting idle for opportunity. So I think for SoCal Ren, on that side, what we can do is pair nicely with that Central Valley administrator and get those opportunities linked up. So I'm taking that as an action item, Wendy, and we'll have that get done. But I think that's a really good question. So for any CBOs out here, please directly connect with us so then we can also link you to that Central Valley administrator and get those opportunities connected. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Thank you.
Another question, Liz, online?
Yes, there's one more question. Does the Trade Ally Network for SoCal EBD include concierge trade allies? We are a home electrification concierge that's small, but we'd love to be included. This is from Cooper at Quit Carbon. Will contractors get paid to participate in Academy?
So the contractors are not paid to do the training. But please reach out to us. We have our, as part of Emerald Cities, we do have our other programs where some of the contractors do receive grants. But as part of EBD, they will not. The payment comes if they are, scheduled to do a direct install measure, but please send us your contact information. And some of the terminology, for EBD is a little bit different. So our decarb concierge is the main point of contact for some of our residential folks to be able to participate in the program. So please don't look into too much detail for that, but please send us your contact information.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if everybody had had their fill of acronyms yet, or we can try to squeeze in a few more. So so we'll take questions. Again, we have some sort of to spur conversation, but I think you guys probably have some questions. So anybody yell out a question if you have one in the room, and then I can repeat it up here to make sure it's heard, hopefully online.
Speaking of acronyms, Rosie, you mentioned Lila as the community that you're serving. I know DAC, I know Hard to Reach, but I don't know Lila.
And let me just repeat so everybody heard. So the question was about what the acronym LILA stands for.
It's low access, low income, and it's a terminology that is specifically designated for food desert regions. And that is done by zip code. So Karen did a study, but that's the acronym basically. I think that's for sure.
Any more acronym questions? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
How are you defining hard to reach as far as food goes? Or food desert, I guess is the thing.
And again, the question was about defining hard to reach.
Hard to reach, the definition, we're using the CPUC definition of hard to reach.
Which is?
Which is essentially those customers that are traditionally don't have access to participate into energy efficiency programs for various different barriers that exist. Either there's a language barrier, either they are located in rural areas, or they're part of a tribal nation, which is a little bit traditionally has been difficult for them to participate. That's different.
And it also includes the Cal Enviro screening and Spanish community definition, so kind of, it's much more broad, which we thought was better, because we really encompass more. What we find in rural communities is that since they're geographically dispersed, I have the great pleasure of driving up this morning and you really get to see, the different communities and how they're located and, what barriers they're facing. And so really thinking about how do we reach those communities and share, when you go, most programs focus on urban, right? Urban infrastructure development. Everybody's close in, it's quick, it's easy, but we really want to make sure that we're focused on communities who haven't historically been served as much as.
Did you guys get that answer online?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I was gonna have you join me up here.
And one more question. How are you defining food desert?
Okay, I'll repeat the question is how is a food desert?
It is already a class, we're not defining it. It's already defined by the state of California, and there's already a study that is produced. That's a designation that's given. So the layers that we use for eligibility requirements, those are already defined. They're not defined by the program. We're just.
And just to clarify too, we use the CDFA, the California Department of Food and Agriculture, food desert. So that.
Thanks.
So to identify or not to identify, if you wanted to find a community or if you wanted to know if a community was in a food desert, is that something that could be found on Cal Enviro Street?
Not on Cal Enviro Street, but there is a website. I'm more than willing to share it to you. It is designated specifically through a zip code. And so that's how it is that we identify eligible participants. So basically, within a city, what we're doing is we're layering DAC, hard to reach, and then the LILA in order to identify the store that would qualify for the food desert program.
Should I just note that the folks online are having a little bit of trouble hearing, so if we could repeat the question.
Yeah.
Out. That's why I was
Yes,
trying
yeah.
for the recording.
And the answers, yeah. Yeah, that question was about the food desert, again, like definition. Any other questions in the room for any of our panelists?
With the Clean Energy Academy, what are the requirements for someone to be enrolled in that academy?
And the question was about the requirements for the Clean Energy Academy.
So the way we're leveraging, so the Wildan Clean Energy Academy is already an academy that we use as a workforce education training. Our partners are going to hire staff, so however it is that they want to hire, they don't need to worry about those hires meeting the technical portion of the program. We are going to, so we know that community-based organizations traditionally don't operate in these energy efficiency programs, right? So of course, it's nerve-wracking to think, oh, we're responsible for the outreach. We can hire in community workers, right? We can, especially here in the Central Valley, right? There's many people that, you know, may have been working in agriculture and want to transition over. They may not have the technical knowledge of energy efficiency, the measures, understanding how to do the site assessments. The way that we're supporting our in-community partners is they can hire, they're gonna use their hiring practices, we're not involved in that portion. What they'll do is they'll hire staff, we will leverage our Wildan Clean Energy Academy to train them, and it is paid. Once they're hired, they start the Wildan Clean Energy Academy for a number of 3 months, and then after that, we do field training. So we go out on the field with them so that they know how to do. This is how you approach a customer. This is how you walk through a facility. We have a software platform that leverages a lot of the site assessment, so they just need to know what type of lighting is this, right, to establish the baseline. Where do I need to know? Where do I take a picture of the panel? What do I need to take a picture of? They have, our outreach staff gets deployed iPads with a software application that basically walks them through the site assessment, but they need to know what that technology looks like that they need to take a picture of. And they need to know how to sell the program and how to do program eligibility. Those are all things that the Clean Energy Academy trains them on.
And then just, so that your partners are Rural Prosperity Center and Campo Energy, those are the two that would, okay.
Yeah.
And if you can, so the question was about which partners are included, can you say?
Yeah, the Rural Prosperity Center that is located here in Central Valley, and then Campo Energy Group. So they are responsible for hiring the business energy advisors, and they will oversee the outreach staff. We are providing all of the training in-house.
Any other questions in the room?
Yeah, there's one more question online, Shelley.
Sure, go.
Stella from Grid Alternatives asking, are you currently working with local unions to connect workforce programs and graduates to pre-apprenticeship programs?
Is that for anyone?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
I can take that question, Wendy from Emerald Cities. So yes, we do have our local union partners, but we don't, we're not placing participants in their pre-apprenticeship programs. So we're utilizing the contractors that are union signatory as part of the CEC EBD Academy.
Yeah, and then Stella, to your question, one of the things that we've heard from union.
Go on, come up here.
Yeah, unions, is that you're not challenged with getting recruitment into their apprenticeship program. So we didn't want to fill a gap that didn't exist. So for them, but we've had discussions with them and they have informed us that their apprenticeship enrollment is not challenged at this time. And they are making an emphasis on prioritizing disadvantaged workers and, you know, different diverse members to enroll into their apprenticeship programs. So I don't know if that's helpful.
Does that answer the question?
I know, Stella, are you still there? Sorry.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much,
Okay.
both of you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Any other questions online or in the room? We have a little bit of time, so I know, one sort of question for the panel too, you talked about your programs, but at least a lot of the conferences that I go to, the exact how of how something is done, when you say we provide training, we provide education. If you could talk a little bit more about some of the details, and again, for each of you, about how your programs sort of provide that education and training, and or projects. Right, so is it generate like training, but also generating projects, and then how you, again, the whole RWA is about that connection, right? So the training that's gonna lead to opportunities, projects that lead to opportunities for trained individuals. Rosie, do you wanna?
Oh, sure. So what I want to say about the Clean Energy Academy is it started initially very similar to the academy that Emerald Cities is running. It was specifically focused on contractors because we were running a large quantity of direct install programs and we needed those contractors to become knowledgeable. What we've noticed through the years as the programs get more complex is that we also need the inside people, the program management staff. We need the outreach, we need the project coordinators, we need the people that are reviewing, we need to build that pipeline. So what we've been doing is transitioning some of our very technical training to bring it more in-house, right? So we are also focusing on those soft skills that you need, and kind of tagging on some of the technical skills. So the way we do it is we have a software program. We have an LMS software program that is done online. You register for the class. It's offered for a series of weeks. You log on and we hire local trainers that either do it virtually or they come in person. And then those trainings are then recorded and uploaded to the LMS. The LMS is able to really track attendance, but also if you happen to miss a class, you can watch the recording. And then some of those classes are transferred to just online instruction, and some of them are out in the field, right? So those can't get recorded and things like that. But that's what we use. We use the LMS, our software platform, to really do and conduct the training. We create the training. A lot of the training is focused. We also have EPA 608. We have a lot of credentials, certifications for the classes. It really depends on the program that we're trying to focus on. It varies from California to New York. It depends on what we're seeing the need for in that local area. And that's where we realize like we really need something to build that pipeline of workforce to support our programs. The way we're using it in California is specifically to bring jobs to local communities that we want to serve. There's a difference between me, I live in LA, and if I'm doing outreach in LA County, it's very different than if you're trying to do outreach out here in the area. And so part of that is making sure that we have, that we're building a pipeline for that type of program management. The other components of the program that don't have to do with like the contractors.
Right.
For us specifically, I mean, just a little bit of history on the RWA. It actually started out of the EDA Good Jobs Challenge grant. It was Solana's brainchild back in COVID. Unfortunately, we were not chosen, but one of the main components was bringing everyone to the table. Our union partners, our employers, our CBO. So a lot of our original members did not have that seat at the table. And, you know, over the years, the RWA has shifted focus on, you know, what is needed. And like Luana mentioned, filling in those gaps and making sure that we're intentionally doing it and approaching it in a way that is going to be sustainable. But for us, it's not just about the training and the opportunities, but it's about the handholding. So a small micro contractor is different from a contractor that has already been established and maybe has like back office support or like back office admin team. And so we want to make sure that we're doing that handholding. And so our technical assistance and our coaching is available to all of our contractors. There's no limits on the hours, so they can go through the training online or in person with us. But then we do those assessments and really figure out where they want to go. Like I mentioned before, a lot of our smaller contractors are private residential. They've never worked in the public workspace. There's a lot of requirements, a lot of barriers for them. And so we want to make sure that everything is tailored to them. And so that's available. And so that's one of the unique things that we're able to do through SoCal REN and our workforce sector, is a lot of the handholding. And it's not just for our e-contractor training program and the academies that we have. But it's also for our other programs that we have. So we have our K through 12 ACES program, which is Architecture, Construction, Engineering, Sustainability Pathway Program. And so we work with K through 12, we work with our community college partners. And then we have our Green Path Careers program. And that one is anyone that's over the age of 18, but it's focused on transitioning foster youth, justice impacted, anyone that's experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness. And for that program, it's a lot of case management support. So a lot happens with that one-on-one.
For us, this is Samuel with ICF for SoCal Ren Ag. We really want to make sure that we identify these trade pros that are out there and that want to be involved in our program. And once we identify a trade pro, we make sure that we put them through a training process of all the measures that are available, what that customer interaction needs to look like, the installation, also making sure that they're bringing confidence in the products that they're installing for these measures that we have. So, I heard it, you obviously just heard Wendy, there's some hand holding that has to happen and you have to have patience for that. So I think it's important that everybody realizes that it's okay to do that, because once you get somebody in your trade pro network that you did this hand holding and they really become a champion of your program is super important. So at ICF, we really make sure that we give them all the opportunities that are out there, all the training that's available. We put them through that. And if they still need additional support and help, we're going to be there for them and making sure that we guide them through that process. So again, the program hasn't launched yet, but those are things that we've done with our current programs that we'll probably implement to the SoCal Ren Ag program. So again, just making sure that we listen to what their needs are, listen to what the program needs, and making sure that we make that connection with them.
Any follow-up questions either
Shani, do
online?
you mind? I just wanted to say there's a lot of coordination that happens. So we're all individual sectors, but we're all part of SoCal Ren. But even our other RENs and our IOU partners, our investor-owned utility partners, Edison and SoCal Gas, there is a lot of coordination. So we're all offering different programs. And so we might work with one of the other RENs if they're not, offering something. They're able to coordinate with us if they aren't able to offer something. And so there is a lot of coordination that happens with not just, with SoCal Ren, but all of our partners that share similar territory or cover the same territory.
Yeah, great point. So, next question is sort of for the group, and Rosie, again, I'll pick on you and have you start first. So you talked a little bit about this already, about some like the project management. So beyond like direct install manufacturing jobs, can you talk a little bit about like what other pathways, programs, jobs, roles are available in the energy efficiency network, and then sort of how we get the skills to people either brand new to the area, so again starting middle school, high school, college, or people that want to transition from an industry into that field, into energy efficiency.
Yeah, I think right now, the way we've embedded our training component within the commercial programs does move away from the technical part. We are very much focused on, I started in outreach. That's where I started in energy efficiency. I think everybody starts at the door knocking, the cold calling. And so to me, I feel like it is an avenue and an entryway into the energy efficiency sector. To start at the beginning, how do you sell these programs? The way that we're kind of incorporating that is we really are building within our training. We're gonna hire, our partners are gonna hire these people fresh who may not have any energy efficiency experience. They may come with a sales background, they may come with a different type of background, but they may not understand the energy efficiency framework. So one of the very first trainings that we're developing is just understanding energy policy across California. I think a lot of people don't understand these programs. They don't understand, we use a lot of acronyms. We use a lot of direct install, we use a lot of words that people don't understand what it means. There's incentives and rebates, and there's all these other things that tie into the sector that we work in. And those are skills that we are trying to build into our training now, right? It is that, because that is what gets you your outreach staff. That's what gets you your project coordinators. That's what gets, to be able to do the analysis, maybe not the calculations, because we know we need engineers for that, right? But just understanding the difference between lighting, the difference in terms of where can I find this? Or where does the funding come from? You get those questions when you're doing outreach. Why is it free to me? Right? And we all know, it's because everybody pays into this fund and, those are things that we're building into our training. So to really establish the baseline. So that once they've participated as the outreach staff and they want to continue their career, at least they have the framework to move on.
I mean, Rosie really encompassed everything, but one thing we like to say, especially to our youth, is every job has an aspect of energy, efficiency, or sustainability. It's not just the technical, the engineers, the assessors, auditors doing that type of work, but making sure that for us, we're targeting that youth. And one thing that we found was for our high school program, by that age, they already made up their mind in terms of careers. And so we are trying to target them a lot earlier. That's one of the main reasons why SoCal Red created the Future Green Leaders Summit, which is kind of like a mini conference for our middle school students to be able to learn about those specific career pathways. And then for us, making sure that we are tailoring not just our training curriculum with our community college partners, but making sure that it's tied to industry and see where the industry is moving. One of our programs, the Green Path Careers program, it changes as the labor market shifts. So we were doing BPI when we started during COVID. So they were on an energy auditor pathway. Now that has moved to a HERS rater pathway. So HVAC has really shifted. And so we want to make sure that the training is tied to, again, the industry and that there are opportunities at the end of that.
This is Samuel with ICF. Again, Rosie started it off well, in the outreach. Yeah, she took everything. That's how I started through the outreach sector. And I think it's important that, what we do is that when we identify the right person, the person that could go out there, can talk, hold a conversation, that's sometimes the hard part to find. But when you find that person within our organization, we make sure that we take the best practices that we've learned to educate them about energy efficiency, some of the other programs that have been very successful, and how do they implement that. The other portion of it too is making sure that I partner with people like Wendy that have potential people that in the future, they're going to be looking for jobs within ICF in the energy efficiency program. So I think it's going to be really important to, take those best practices that we've learned within our programs, apply them, duplicate them, and then also leverage Wendy Angel and her program of finding future people that want to take a step towards this energy efficiency, leadership or, career goal, which I think is going to be super important. So I appreciate her partnership on this and looking forward to working with her together.
So just one last question to close it out. So you guys have talked about your programs, talked about the training, talked about the education, jobs. So if you could talk a little bit about how we can help ensure that the jobs in energy efficiency, existing jobs, new jobs, maybe as a result of new technologies, AI, mechanical, whatever it is, how those get to the Central Valley and how we can reach rural participants and residents.
Starting in order.
So, I mean, whoever wants to talk first, I've picked on Rosie this whole time, so.
Yeah, I'll go. So again, this is Samuel with ICF. Technology is always changing. We're always, there's always innovation coming out. So one of the things that we make sure that we do, as part of being ahead of the curve is making sure that we're attending conferences. We're partnering with utilities to see what's going to be the next change that we're going to see or that they want to see or the direction that we could go where we could, get closer to our energy saving goals. So, we want to make sure that we're out there, we're hearing what are the trends, what are those things that are changing, and make sure that we could adopt those into our programs. So we're always looking for new equipment that maybe we weren't looking at before, where we could, adopt it and apply it. And what that does, it actually lets our program be more successful. It allows us to add more positions. It allows us to create more leads that then lead into projects that then create more jobs, whether it's the installer, whether it's, the account manager going out there, being able to have, a bigger network of projects to bring in or a bigger pipeline. So that's super important. And I think it's important as a company that we continue to go in that direction, because that's going to create more jobs. The efficiency and the new technology that's coming out, it's not necessarily going to replace anything, but we have to be able to educate people about that technology that's moving forward. So super important.
We have a follow-up question. Oh, sorry, there's a question in the room. What can we?
Yeah, if you,
Okay, yeah,
I can go afterwards.
okay, perfect.
I was just gonna say, we're really tapping into our employer partners. Every employer is different. And we might have some baseline foundational training or certificated training, but really each employer is looking for different skill sets, specifically soft skills. And something that if you're majoring in college or you're doing a certificated training, sometimes, there's no specific certificate for what an employer is looking for. And so for us, it's really tapping into them and making sure that, yes, we do provide this foundational training or certificated training, but what are you looking specifically when it comes to hiring? And so again, we really do have the flexibility to be able to tailor that and be able to provide to our incoming participants that one-on-one. Okay, this employer is hiring, but they're looking for a specific skill set. We'll provide you this training, but during your one-on-one, we're also going to be covering this because this is what they're looking for. And I think, sometimes our colleges and what's really out there is really not connected to industry. And so one thing for us is tapping into our community college partners. We create all of our curriculum with our LA Community College District. And so we're heavily involved in making sure that that curriculum is relevant to where the industry is moving. This could mean software. A few years ago, we were using AutoCAD and Revit. Now that has moved to SolidWorks, which is a 3D computer aided design. And so the industry is shifting, and we want to make sure that all these pieces are connected and that they do work in coordination with each other.
I was gonna say if you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then we'll get to the one more question in the room and then we'll.
I think your original question, I think, had to do is how do we bring jobs to the Central Valley? And I'll say that when we were designing our program, that was a conundrum for us as well. Because typically when you do job hunts and you get a lot of people from the cities, right? And the only way that we could solve that, and our approach really was, we need to be able to partner with community-based organizations that are mission aligned. That could then create the jobs. And we will provide all of the training that is required for them to support the programs. We run well over 50 programs across the nation. We know exactly what you need in order to work on the outreach and enrollment, the project coordinators, all that. So building that curriculum for us was essential to do those soft skills, as Wendy mentioned, and then supplementing it with all the technical knowledge that they may need. But that is why we partnered with RPC and Campo, because they're the ones that are doing the work in those hard to reach communities.
Okay, we have one question in the room and then we'll move on to our last program spotlight presenter.
Yeah, a question / comment. I'm Laura Bromas. I'm the executive director of USPBC Central California. We are out of Fresno serving the San Joaquin Valley. Thank you so much for coming here and thank you so much for highlighting all these great programs. We've worked with Lionel for a long time. Lionel and I, we've had many conversations on the need for workforce development and the challenges that we have here. One of the most obvious one is in the room, right? Our region is separated by SCE and PG&E. That is a challenge. We don't have the whole valley here for this conversation because we are separated, and that is difficult for us living here and trying to implement programs on the ground. And then it's also, we have a lot of, or we have just a small, a couple of organizations that are focused on the subject matter, and they're usually not in a competitive space to compete with organizations out of San Diego, LA, San Francisco on managing those programs. We see a lot as a local organization bringing together the professionals working in sustainability, that when the outreach happens to
hard to reach communities such as us are in our region. There's a lot of focus on working with CBOs that are really on the ground, working directly with these organizations, which these organizations just like us out of the conversation. And I think there needs to be a good mixture of working with CBOs that are focused on the ground and really can reach out to their communities. It's something that we do as well. And the subject matter partners that are on the ground, that are already doing that work, that are doing these workshops, they very often just do not have funding for this. And if there's a little bit more flexibility in funding, organizations that are on the ground in these areas, that would, I think, help tremendously and really empower people on the ground to bring that message even further than it could have been brought before.
Yeah, thank you. And we're gonna go move on to our last presentation. And then for those of you that are staying afterwards for the tour, there will also be opportunities to talk more with any of the presenters or panelists or anybody here. Take it away.
There you go. Thanks of mine. I did not send that.
That's a big picture of life. Let's just all stare at Lionel's picture.
We find a bigger picture.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't send my picture. I'm gonna go right before Lionel. My name is Patty Flores. I'm the manager of our energy center in Irwindale. Have any of you been to our Irwindale? Shout out, thank you very much. And then who's the first time that you've been here in Chile? Oh, very nice. And then you've been here before, I will with the rest of you all, very nice. Well, as everyone said, thank you very much for being here. I know I learned a lot. It's really incredible to see all the great work that's being done with friends and new friends. Edison has had a workforce education and training program for a very long time. I think you can actually go to the next slide here. It's actually just a overview of our two centers. A little cough there, but that's okay. We've had, our energy centers have been around for 30 some years.
92 was Irwindale, 96 is here.
Okay,
30
so
some years.
somewhat of the pioneers in terms of workforce education.
Actually, you don't need the mic.
I don't need them.
Okay.
Better without the mic. I know. So all that to say, we're very much in a silo before, we very much worked, especially even within Edison, right? SoCal and Tulare and had some really great programs, but there were gaps, we weren't able to see some of the opportunities further out, whether it was, Inland Empire, Orange County, or out in the various regions, and now you're talking about even inland food deserts and things like that. So it's really incredible to see all the great work that's going on. Is that really 1 minute for all of us? Is that what I see? I saw her hold aside. No, that's okay. I think you guys didn't mind it. No, that's okay. I wanted to make sure I was cognizant of that. Great partnership. So I'm just thrilled to see everything that's going on. We have similar challenges, so we've got a lot of stuff on the slides. I think you guys will get copies of the slides, right? So we won't go into all of this here. Our workforce education and training primarily focuses on what we call technical upskill. So folks that are already in their career and they're looking to get additional training above and beyond what they've received. So we do focus on the pipeline. We have actually our outreach partners here too. They hit the road and represent us. Actually, Lionel will talk about that as well. So we do want to inspire the next generation of workforce to join a career in clean energy. But then once they're in, we know that's not our job, right? We've got the community colleges, we've got the trade schools, we have all of you at the unions, really focusing on getting them to that next level. But we don't want them to forget that the utilities are here to help them, support them in their next phase. So our energy centers, we do a lot of really wonderful training. We actually focus quite a bit with the USGBC and have a great partnership there too. Perfect, yes. So we've just some stats. We're really, really proud of what we've done. Is that you, Lionel? There we go. Just, we've just some stats here in terms of our outreach and what we do. 607 workshops last year. So one of the things as you were talking about, some of the programs that you guys offer, I don't know if we can offer a class that shows all the opportunities that are out there. You know, we have a really robust email list where we send out, monthly, not weekly opportunities. I know PG&E has that as well, but if we can showcase, you know, what we are doing for folks that are, just getting started, I think that'd be great. We work with a lot of, associations, industry professionals. When we ask folks, what's the number one way that you learned about our class? It was through a colleague or a partner. People spread the word, right? So if we can get that out to our folks, I think that'd be a huge plus. But yeah, we reach a large number of people. So if anyone has a class that you think would be great for folks that are already in industry, let us know. We actually do a lot of classes too for consumers, you know, just educating them on electrification and all the opportunities there too. So we're really here to say we want to partner. Really open to opportunities to get the word out about what you're doing. And I know folks also want to work with Edison in different ways. So Lionel and I are here if you need to reach anybody. It's a big company. Sometimes it's hard to navigate. So let us know. We're happy to help figure out who you can connect with as well.
Want to go to the next or?
Yeah, no. I think I just wanted to mention this one in particular, only because it's very unique to Irwindale. We also have a food technology center there, so if one area that we haven't talked about as much is food service and that space. We're really awesome kitchen. It's a lab. People come to test their recipes. I always kind of joke that, you know, sometimes people have to feed a lot of people, right? So you're thinking a regular restaurant, but what about like cruise ships and prisons, you know, hospitals, all the big daddies. So we've got really awesome equipment there for anybody to come and test their recipes. We've got really great chefs that have come through. So you get all the extra calories that come through Irwindale. But it is a great space. So if you're down south, you're always welcome to come and visit. I'll pass it to Lionel.
All right. Thanks, Patty. All right, oh, next down, okay. Well, she's changing it too. Let's go to the mobile education and program. Hello, everybody. Lionel Moreno. Actually been at this facility for 19 years. I enjoy my job. Done everything from class coordination to event coordination to work on the wet lead for our side of the utility. Just a lot of jobs, but I'm very excited to share I currently manage the mobile education unit program, which pretty much is an extension of the Energy Center going out to communities, showcasing our classes, our resources, our tool ending library, just a lot of our programs that those hard to reach areas, those rural communities. I mean, and I think we're very unique. Having a partner like Horizon Marketing here, the vendor who does the outreach for me. We actually have a northern team and a southern team in Southern California. We're able to go to any area in our territory. And it's just by continuous training, continuous improvement. And we've just a few stats. Go to the next slide. Here's some stuff that we've been doing here specifically in the Central Valley. Just partnership. I'm all about partnership. That's one of the things that I think I've been good at is working with the local, you know, community colleges and work with the WIDs and the schools and just all the different things. But being a little bit more direct, this year in 2025, I built the program from the ground up in 2023. Now in 2025, we got the ball rolling. We got Horizon Marketing doing a lot of our outreach, but we got to be really more intentional going to those career pathway students, you know, facing them and saying, hey, go to the HVAC class at San Joaquin Valley College or College Sequoias. Students that are actually, these guys are wanting to go into the field, get the certificated program. Hey, have you heard about our classes? Have you heard about our tool lending program? Have you heard about our Interplay platform that we're just launching, which gives them a VR hands-on experience of exploring different types of trainings, which we'll do that in a tour. I'll show you a little example of that. But it's being more direct, going to those young, you know, the middle schools. I'm on the board for Visalia Unified. Where's Amy? Right here. I'm on their board for introducing these type of careers to middle school students because Visalia Unified has pathway programs that can actually direct students in those classes and in those jobs. So it's very exciting. Yeah, it's just something that I enjoy doing, and it's like I said, having multiple teams, it's really been an opportunity to engage the future workforce. And I'm always up for partnering, and so if there's any of you want to talk to me afterwards, we'd love to come out to your events, your community, present to your class. Excuse me?
Oh, so we've even invited, some of our partners to our outreach events, so like,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like our World Ag Expo booth, we had, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the group. We had
Danner,
but the LA County Fair, we just
Yes,
wrapped up our space there, and we had one of the third parties join our booth there to, promote the ESA programs.
right, yeah, so there's many programs, so that's one thing about our staff is we are experts in our workforce, but we also have to talk about our income qualified programs, or maybe our fire prevention programs, those type of things that we have to really be mindful of, and we just love to engage our customers, so. Any questions? Is that good, submitted? Right.
Hey, my name's Ben Stapleton. I'm the executive director for USGBC California. Just wanted to note that you asked about classes. One of the areas we identified as a gap is education for contractors and others around how to leverage financing incentives. There's a lot of programs that are out there.
Yes.
We don't teach them how to put them all together, stack them, projects, present them to customers. We've been talking to the Department of Treasury here with the state, who has funding also to help us set up a program like that. So I just want to flag that for you. Because we'll be reaching out to hopefully include a lot of these things in the training to learn how to actually stack these incentives and financing, so it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that with Nico over lunch, right, where we were talking about just the opportunity to, we've got great, energy efficiency opportunities, electrification opportunities, but how do we make it work for customers, and you gotta get creative, so yeah, if you can team up on a class, that'd be awesome.
All right, thank you.
So we're moving to the breakout room. So in the room, it's gonna be Ben leading us in a go to Q&A, and then online, we're gonna split folks into rooms. So we'll do that for about 10 minutes. So yeah. Take it away.
Well, this is meant to be fairly easy to do. So are we going to be able to pull up the board here also, Kaylin? Which is the question. So for folks who are online, we have a digital board that people are dropping stickies onto. We have 4 questions that we're answering today. So we decided we were going to have this group here focus on question 2. Seemed like we had a good amount of folks involved in education here in the room. The other folks who are online are going to go into breakouts to discuss other questions. Then we're going to come back together and do some sharing around all the questions. So our question here is, what certifications, education, skills, pick one, pick something different if you'd like, are required for these jobs today and in the future? But we also want to make this the next 3 to 5 years, right? We don't want to make this, 10 years from now, we think people are going to need X kind of skills. So what's needed today, and then what can we start preparing now for that's 3 to 5 years out? So we really just want this to be a discussion. We'll go ahead and maybe Kaylin or someone can help add stuff to the sticky board that everyone's going to be looking at online. And yeah, anybody have anything they want to throw out there? What certifications or skills are required for these jobs? Ideas? I think we're gonna all stay in here in one room.
Yeah, this is all.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also started in outreach, and I work with a lot of students here through fellowships, through USGBC California. What I see, there's a big need for the soft skills, just basic soft skills, to even approach people, if working with young folks, students on the ground, people at the beginning of their career. I think that's beyond certifications, that's really an important baseline that has to be developed in order for us to advance.
Can we break down those soft skills a little bit, or are we talking about just being able to show up and speak to someone professionally? Are we talking about interviewing? Are we talking about, even data entry and responding to email? Like maybe break down some of those soft skills a little bit. How would you define those?
Well, soft skills, just basically, from the base up, right, to even approach other people and talk to them and feel comfortable enough to do so. Taking your space, when I work with a bunch of student fellows from Fresno State, we talk a lot about they need to learn how to take their space and feel comfortable in engaging in a conversation so that they cannot be just like smushed away. I think for students, especially if, I think most of us still grew up in a time where we didn't have a computer on our hand, in our hand all the time. And if you think about students that are on their way to finish school, to get into a career, they are very much used to a cell phone with them all the time. So getting disconnected from that is for some of them a big challenge. So really this like being present in the moment and learning how to talk to people, learning how to do certain tasks. I mean, that goes beyond that. I'm talking about very basic interpersonal skills that need to have, find a space in there. Students are more used to just following direction and orders. So data entry is something where they might even have a hand up. The basic interaction is something that where I see a big need. And as you talk about outreach, it's a basic part of outreach. So it's something that schools with on the academic side, right, do not deliver. And even on the interpersonal side, it's not something that they can 100% fulfill.
Yeah.
So, to
Yeah,
add
go ahead,
to
Laura.
that, I was just gonna say, so in our Green Path Careers program, which targets foster youth that are exiting out of the system, one of the things that we found is we have to provide them personal skills. And essentially, it's exactly what you outlined, how to interact, how to handle a checkbook. You know, most kids don't know how to handle a checkbook, right? Like, we're not teaching them those fundamentals, and it's essential. And I know our focus is energy efficiency, but I always say it is, you know, a comprehensive workforce that we need, and it's not just siloed. But I will say, just so everybody's in the room, that through SoCal Rent, we leverage workforce board dollars for that type of education. So one of the great things is we're able to bring in some of the state funding that's going out to these workforce boards by county and have those type of skill sets incorporated. Yes, we totally agree. You know, as we prepare disadvantaged workers or at-risk youths or those re-entering citizens, they need to have those, and I definitely see it for even the energy. I can tell you right now, my son has his phone 24/7.
Thank you, Luana. Thank you. And you had a comment up here?
Yeah, so I work at a regional occupational center out of Bakersfield, California, within our high school district. And so we've kind of shifted from calling them soft skills, we say professional characteristics. Our campuses serve about 3,000 juniors and seniors within the current high school district every year. So our professional characteristics that we focus on at our campus, first quarter is communication. So how do you look someone in the eye, shake hands, introduce yourself, have that kind of initial networking conversation. We have a meet and greet activity where they are, you know, they have to mix within the student population and practice that professional introduction. Second semester, we do financial literacy because students don't know how to balance a checkbook or read their pay stub on there when they get their first paycheck or understand any of that. Then the third quarter, we do problem solving. So that kind of just piggybacks as far as you can communicate with somebody that if you have a problem, what are the steps and how do you become an employee that isn't just, okay, I'm frozen because I don't know what to do next. And then our last one is dependability. And so those, instead of calling them soft skills, we're doing like professional characteristics.
Okay, something you may want more, right? You're like, that's something you're gonna go after.
Yeah, exactly. So any input on that, and like I said, we work with about 3,000 high school students every year. So always open to.
Do we have somebody else was gonna say something over here? I thought I saw somebody. Yeah. Now, so it sounds like there's more of a need for these skills for folks who are earlier on in their career. Do we feel like there's technical gaps or technical skills needed? Or does it feel like once people kind of get into the ecosystem, they're able to get access to the technical skills they need? Does anyone feel like there's gaps? Yeah, go ahead.
No, certainly, with the migration from energy efficiency to doing more electrification, there's a huge gap. in the workforce and being able to do the assessments for home electrification with the additional load that's being brought on. And then the technical side of it, panel sizing.
So assessments, panel sizing, what else? Anything
Yeah,
else coming
and then
up?
the installation. The
Okay.
installation of heat pump water heater was mentioned. And other electrification measures, electric conduction, tops, things like that. It's much more complicated than it used to be, where you unplug one thing and you plug another one in. It's a different world.
Do you feel like the demand is there for them to show up? Because sometimes we hear from contractors, hey, we'll go to those trainings when I'm getting requests that I need to fill, I'm not necessarily getting those yet. Does anyone have any comment on that? Because we kind of heard that pushback.
Millions of dollars coming into California
Okay.
with the equitable building decarbonization program, the things going on with CEC, with the IOUs, expectations for GHG reductions.
Okay.
There's a lot of money out there, and one of the biggest challenges that we as an implementer experience is just not having enough of those different classes of workforce to be able to do the work where there's money already on the table.
Fair enough. Yeah. Are we at time? Do we have time? Yeah, we are at time. I'm getting a yes. So now we're gonna go into some sharing, I believe, from everyone from these different groups. So we have those 5 questions that are there. I just want to note, we have a board we put together to help guide this conversation. So I think we're gonna share that after the meeting too, so people can continue to add sticky notes to that, so we can send that out to everyone to keep afterwards. So, thank you.
All right, it sounds like I just have a minute. So again, I want to thank everyone. We're building, Wendy mentioned this came out of the EDA, Department of Labor Jobs Grant Program that we didn't win, by the way, but that's okay. But this is the child that came out of it that, bringing a regional workforce alliance, and we're hoping to build it so the more members can participate in, we could share opportunities. Eventually, we'll be able to share resources when grants come back, maybe in a couple of years. The Department of Labor will kick in, the DOE will kick in, so we're hoping, even if this is a dry spell, that's what I'm calling it. Eventually that will change and we will see more opportunities, and building this alliance will help for all of you to take advantage of those opportunities when they come. And then, of course, building off each other's programs and working together to help build impact in our communities. So thank you again, and I look forward to attending the next quarterly regional workforce. Thank you.